President Donald Trump is making Coke great again. No, not the Hunter Biden style Coke, the kind that you drink, the soda. President Donald Trump, in a surprise announcement on his Truth Social, posted the following. I have been speaking to Coca-Cola about using real cane sugar in Coke in the United States, and they have agreed to do so. I'd like to thank all of those in authority at Coca-Cola. This will be a very good move by them. You'll see. It's just better. Now, Coca-Cola has been using cane sugar in Mexican Coke, a very popular product that started in, Mexico, eventually was brought into the United States, and now has kind of a cult-like following among Coke aficionados who say cane sugar, real sugar in Coca-Cola, is just better. It's just way better. It tastes better. And of course, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., will tell you it's also way healthier and will cut down on the obesity epidemic here in the United States of America that we're suffering from because of the reduction in high fructose corn syrup. And high fructose corn syrup is something Coca-Cola has been using since the 80s. Donald Trump, a big lover of Diet Coke that doesn't use sugar or high fructose corn syrup, and made this announcement. And Coca-Cola said they will be announcing some changes to their lineups. We're not sure if every single can or bottle of Coke is going to be using cane sugar or if it's just a select few. But it is one more thing that President Donald Trump is focused on, working with these food companies and these soda companies and all these other companies, pharmaceuticals around the country to make sure that the ingredients they're using are the healthiest ingredients around. So if you are a Coke drinker, just know that you may have cane sugar coming to a Coke can near you. No word, by the way, on Pepsi. In the meantime, President Donald Trump has continued his tirade against Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, in an effort to get him either removed or B, to just quit. If he doesn't quit sometime soon, there have been rumblings that President Donald Trump has already put in works the necessary steps to remove him from that office as Fed chair, because President Donald Trump maintains that he is the speed bump that is continuing to slow the economy, that the economy is booming, that Donald Trump's economic plan is working, but that Jerome Powell has been kind of the roadblock to true economic recovery and the ability for people to borrow money at a low cost so that they could buy homes and invest in businesses and other things.
Everything else is so strong, we're bullying through the rates, the high interest rates. The housing market would boom if this, numbskull, he's a numbskull. And if this guy can you imagine, we're talking about housing, he's building a building, he's building an addition, I guess for more people to tell him what to do, and he's always wrong. They had 71 different geniuses that they interviewed and that were put up. You probably saw that. I
did.
And with predictions. And the only one that got it right was me and one other person. 69 were wrong. This guy got it wrong, and he wants to put in thousands of additional people to tell him what to say. I mean, how many people do you need? Read a newspaper and make your own decision, right?
Sir, are you thinking of removing him, or do you think he resigns before his term's out, Jerome Powell?
I'd love if he wants to resign. That would be up to him. They say it would disrupt the market if I did, but, there are many people say he should be removed because of the fraud of what he's doing at the Fed with regard to the $2.5 billion. He's spending $2.5 billion to I guess it's a renovation. I don't know.
That's all it is. It's just a renovation.
I'm very good at that stuff. I should go look at it at least. I feel,
yeah, we got a story up on it today. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
The building costs less to build than it's cost to renovate. It's insane. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like one of the most expensive buildings in the world. He's putting all sorts of parks on the top of the building and this, that. And I guarantee the contractors are making a fortune. No, this is not a guy. This is a guy who was recommended. He was recommended to me by Mnuchin, and he not worked out good.
Just didn't work out good, and now President Donald Trump's trying to get him to quit so that he doesn't have to be in charge of the Fed anymore, and we can get someone in there who's going to lower the interest rates. He was also asked about it in the Oval Office yesterday, and he continued, like I said again, to plan for the future. The post-Powell future is what Donald Trump is looking toward. And while he was entertaining the Crown Prince / Prime Minister of Bahrain, President Donald Trump continued to say disparaging things about Jerome Powell, again, in an effort to try to get him to get out of there because he's just too late to do anybody any good.
Do you have plans, or if you're back considering firing Jerome Powell,
And what's your justification if you're thinking about this to do this?
Too late. He's always been too late, hence his nickname, Too Late. He should have cut interest rates a long time ago. Europe has cut them 10 times in the short period of time, and we cut them none. The only time he cut them was just before the election to try and help Kamala or Biden, whoever the hell it was, because nobody really knew. Obviously, that didn't work, but he tried to cut them for the Democrats, Kamala. And how did that work out? You'll tell me. It didn't work out too well, did it? But he's I think he does a terrible job. He's costing us a lot of money, and we fight through it. It's almost, the country's become so successful that it doesn't have a big impact, but it does hurt people wanting to get a mortgage. People want to buy a house. He's a terrible Fed chair. I was surprised he was appointed. I was surprised, frankly, that Biden put him in and extended him, but they did. So, no, we're not planning on doing anything. We're very concerned. He's doing a little renovation for $2.5 billion of the Fed, building a renovation, and they have a close to $900 million cost overrun, and it's a shame. But
yeah, and it's a shame, and that's the same thing. He continued to rail about the building. But while President Donald Trump was there, he was making the point again that Jerome Powell has to go. And like I said, there have been moves within the White House. People are reporting. Scott Bessent said that they've been discussing it, drafting a letter trying to remove Jerome Powell. Donald Trump stopping short of saying he's going to fire him, but really definitely putting on the pressure campaign, trying to get him out of there, trying to get him to leave so that we can have a much more successful economic bounty, and so that people could go in there and the housing market would basically just explode. Another thing that happened yesterday was the Crown Prince of Bahrain / the Prime Minister met with Donald Trump, and they discussed Iran and the denuclearization of Iran that President Donald Trump took care of with those bombings just a few weeks ago. And they asked the Crown Prince, they said, is the Gulf a much safer region? Is Bahrain and everyone else in a better position after the attack? And here's what he said.
Do you think that the Gulf area now is more secure? And do you believe that a negotiation with Iran is necessary at this stage?
Well, I definitely believe that the volatility of the situation has been reduced. And we didn't know where it was going to go on the Sunday. We were very glad when we found out on the Monday. Let me put it that way. And should the Iranians want to negotiate, I believe the ball's in their court. That is the true reality of where we stand today. They are the ones that stand to benefit from a negotiation.
And they do. They want to negotiate. They want to negotiate badly. We're in no rush because, we said we could have made a deal. They should have made a deal. And then we bombed the hell out of their various places. We're in no rush, but if they want to negotiate, we're here.
Yeah, Donald Trump said, if they want to negotiate, we are here, and we will be happy to talk to them about whatever it is they want to talk about. One of the other things that Donald Trump talked about with the Crown Prince of Bahrain while he was there was the investment that the Crown Prince is making in the United States, another $17 billion, which when you add to the tariff revenue that President Donald Trump has brought into the country, when you add to the tariff revenue that we've been enjoying, really marks for continued growth and economic development that will continue to make the United States an economic and a military superpower superior to any other country. And the tariffs already, just in the past few months, have made us richer than I think we've been in a very long time.
Specifically, how much revenue do you think we can consistently bring in from these tariffs, and how big of a game changer is this, not only for the economy, but also fiscal responsibility?
Well, we're going to be bringing in, already we've brought in over $100 billion. We'll be bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars. And the tariffs really haven't kicked in that much other than automobiles and steel. August 1st is a big day. August 1st is when very substantial money comes into our country. We've made deals with a lot of great places, but we had one yesterday, that was announced. We have another one coming up, maybe with India. I don't know. We're in negotiation. When I send out a letter, that's a deal. In other words, that's a deal. They don't want to ever say that. Oh, how many deals have you made? The best deal we can make is to send out a letter. And the letter says that you'll pay 30%, 35%, 25%, 20% in one case 50%, Brazil, and because what they're doing to their former president is disgraceful. I know the former president. He fought like hell for the people of Brazil, that I can tell you. And I believe he's an honest man. I think what they're doing to him is terrible.
Yeah. And so President Donald Trump saying, look, we got the deals. We're sending out the letters. We've got the tariff revenue. Everything's coming in accordingly. Everything's working according to plan, at least, when it comes to the economy. And J.D. Vance was out yesterday touting the One Big Beautiful Bill and the huge success that came from the One Big Beautiful Bill, and how that, too, has been a transformative piece of legislation for all Americans.
And we're just getting started, my friends. The passage of the Big Beautiful Bill. Now, of course, the mainstream media, the corporate press, doesn't like what we accomplished. It doesn't like what we did. But let me just talk a little bit about what this bill, about what this legislation means for you and your family. And there are a few different things, a few different ways in which I think this will be transformational for the American people. You heard Kelly talk about this a little bit. How many, Don, of your 36 employees are putting in a lot of overtime every single week? I bet a lot of them are. You told me you got projects coming in so fast, they're struggling to get people in to do all the jobs that are necessary. Well, now, thanks to President Trump's leadership, if you work overtime, the federal government is not going to take a dime of that overtime. You earn that money. You ought to keep it in your pocket.
How many people are going to be signing up for, how many people are going to be volunteering for overtime now that the One Big Beautiful Bill is passed? All those projects, all the manpower, I mean, that's what it is. It's incentivizing people to work overtime, to work even more, and they're going to benefit from it. They're going to see more money in their paychecks because that overtime money will not be taxed.
And here's what I am most proud of. What I am most proud of over the last 6 months, the border is important, and it's great, and it's incredible that we were able to go from the worst open border to a closed border in just a couple of weeks under President Trump's leadership. But you know what I'm really excited about? I'm really excited about the fact that for the first time in a very long time, workers' wages are rising faster than inflation. You're able to buy more, you're able to do more, and we're just getting started.
That is very exciting. And speaking of the border continues to be an issue because the Democrats continue to attack ICE agents. They attack ICE agents not only in Congress and on television and on the media, but they're attacking them on the street, and they're urging their supporters to attack them on the street. And they're trying to make it less safe for these ICE agents who are doing very dangerous work in rounding up and deporting illegal immigrants, making sure that our border is secure. And Stephen Miller was back on Fox News with an edition of Miller Time, where he went off once again on any and all of these Democrats who protect the criminals and admonish or attack the law enforcement agents.
Look, at every turn, illegal aliens have always been treated better than Americans. The difference is, in this administration, they're getting a ticket out of America so that we can take care of our own people. Do you have any idea how many resources will be opened up for Americans when the illegals are gone? No more waiting in line at an emergency room? No more massive traffic in Los Angeles? Your health insurance premiums go down? Your public school classroom size will shrink dramatically. They have more time to educate every student. You won't have to compete for public benefits. If you're down on your luck, you're having a hard time, and you do need to get support from the government, you're not going to be in line behind millions of illegal aliens from the third world. This is going to be such a gift to the quality of life of everyday Americans, Jesse. It's hard to even express the wonders that await for working people.
Well, I haven't even thought about the traffic and the education and everything else. When you reduce the population by millions of illegal immigrants, it does give a little bit more breathing room to law-abiding citizens and Americans who are here legally. Something, again, that is not often talked about, but something that is definitely an added benefit. Not just the safety feature, not just the availability of jobs, but also the availability of healthcare and of free-flowing traffic and all kinds of other things. Tom Homan was on the news, and he was discussing, Tom Homan, the border czar, was discussing this report from a former Biden border agent who was giving President Donald Trump advice in the New York Times. Wrote an op-ed piece saying, giving Donald Trump advice on how to better secure the border, which is weird because Joe Biden had the worst border security in history, and Donald Trump has the best. And Tom Homan pointed that out.
Well, look, I'm shocked this guy didn't change his name, went into hiding. I mean, he has blood on his hands. I can't believe he's actually admitting to be a Biden border advisor, because based on his advice, we had historical immigration. They took the most secure border we ever had in Trump 45 and unsecured on purpose, which caused a historic increase in sex trafficking of young women and children. It caused 400 national security threats arrested at the border. It caused 250,000 Americans dead from fentanyl, an historic record. Over 4,000 migrants died crossing that border, an historic record. They broke a lot of records. They were all bad. And in the very end, they said, well, we dropped immigration by 70%. No, they didn't. He's probably the advisor to create the CHMV program, Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Haiti. Let's bring 30,000 a month into the airports. Then let's open up the CBP-1 app and bring thousands in every day so we can say the illegal entries are down. They just played a shell game. I wonder if he advised Trump. I mean, did he advise Mayorkas and Kamala Harris and Biden to keep saying the border's secure? We know it wasn't secure. President Trump secured this border, the highest level ever, in 7 weeks. He took the most unsecured border we've ever seen with all these historic numbers and secured it in 7 weeks, President Trump.
And that is something that is making all Americans safer. Well, something else that's making Americans safer is halting the fentanyl, the spread of fentanyl. And yesterday at the White House, in a very moving ceremony, President Donald Trump signed into law the Halt Fentanyl Act. And he was surrounded again by these parents who have lost children, who have lost loved ones, who've lost their kids to fentanyl because of the dangerous rise in the drug coming over the border from China, from Mexico, over through Canada. And now, thanks to this new legislation, there will be stiffer penalties and fines for anyone trafficking in fentanyl.
A friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine, is Jackie Siegel, and her beautiful children. Her husband, David, just passed away. David Siegel was a great developer, great developer, great guy, a friend of mine. But her children, Jordan, Jacqueline, and Drew, come from Florida. Jackie lost her beautiful daughter, Victoria, to drugs when Victoria was just 18 years old, a beautiful person. And this April, Jackie lost her sister, Jessica, to fentanyl. In her daughter's honor, Jackie founded Victoria's Voice. And I'd like to ask Jackie to come up and say a few words about her daughter, her husband, her family. She's comes from a great family, and they've been fighting this scourge for a long time. Thank you.
And President Donald Trump now signing into law the Halt Fentanyl Act, which will help Jackie and her family, or, well, other families, keep it from being like Jackie's, where they're tragically mourning the loss of a child because of this fentanyl scourge, as President Donald Trump so aptly put it. Listen, there's so much more that we have to talk about today. There's a lot of news breaking every single day. And every day at 1 p.m., we go live on our second daily podcast, Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. More news, more information, more interviews, more commentary, more truth that you need to know, more truth that you deserve to know. And it's live every single day at 1 p.m. We're on YouTube and Rumble and Facebook and all of the live streaming platforms you can find. Plus, if you'd like, you can download our podcast. Go to iTunes or Spotify, search Mark Kaye Saves the Republic, download, listen, and enjoy.